started, we were the nice, clean mop-tops and every mother's son, and everyone loved us. And then suddenly, you know, there's a few things that they don't understand and they don't get, and, you know, they don't like. And so it turns them off as a bit, you know. But I still think we're very popular.
Everyone grows up, and it is always a great pity to see a baby turn into an adult. Because it's always more nicer when they're a baby and they go goo-goo and they do everything you want. You know, it's lovely. And in a certain period in our career, we did, you know, we were sort of particularly nice. You know, we had like a very all-round appeal. It wasn't put on, you know, we were more like that, you know. But as we've grown up, you become more individual. And so, like, for instance, if you don't want a press interview, you know, like these days, we don't have to say yes. We're more true to ourselves these days, and it obviously doesn't please some people, but I think you'll find, like, a lot of other people like us for it. You know, I tell you what happened. Once in the old days, we used to wear leather jackets. We used to wear leather suits a lot. And we changed. Brian said, look, lads, smarten up a bit, you know, get yourselves suits. So we got suits and ties and stuff, and we went on like that. We gained a whole new audience and lost all the people who wanted us in leather. See, so this is happening again, you know. I think it always will happen, that, where we'll lose all the people who wanted us to be just four nice, clean-cut lads, and who didn't want us to grow beards.
Yeah.
And we'll gain all the people who don't care whether we got beards or what, you know, because they're out for us, not for what we look like or how nicely we speak, you know. They're out for us being truthful to ourselves. That's what they're interested in.
Although their last album was yet to hit the record racks, the word was out. The Beatles were breaking up. And no matter what the recording company said, the Beatles would no longer record together again. McCartney says the Eastmans were bringing suit against Alan Klein of Abco Management and John Lennon, George Harrison, and Richard Starkey of Apple Corporation. Abco and Apple was doing the same to Paul, and so on and so forth. Some people have speculated that the boys were having differences over their wives, Yoko Ono and Linda Eastman McCartney. Some people thought it was artistic differences that was driving a wedge between them.
Millions and millions of money, but I must tell you that the Beatles got very little of it. Yeah. And that really only happened since Klein came in, the so-called wolf. And there's millions earned, but we never got it, you know.
Well, who got it then, John?
Well, you know, there's lots of big companies in London with various names. You just have to check them out and their connection with the Beatles, and you see where the money's gone.
Everybody.
And in America, too. Everybody connected with us is millionaires, except for the Beatles.
You're not
They used to tell Paul and I we are millionaires. We never have been. I might possibly be coming up to it shortly, you know, if we get lucky. But it's true, you know. We didn't get the money.
And you certainly aren't a millionaire. You never have been a millionaire.
No.
Not George, Ringo.
No. George and Ringo are practically penniless. Yoko now has got more money than they had when Klein came in. And that's in 2 years, you know. Yeah. And we were working 10 years, and the money was just...
the contract, the wrong contract, you know.
You know, Brian was a beautiful guy, Brian Epstein, and he was an intuitive, theatrical guy, and he knew we had something, he presented us well. But he had lousy business advice, not to say that somebody was crooking him particularly, but he got lousy advice.
Taken advantage of.
Taken advantage of. We all were, Brian included, you know, and none of us got it.
George Harrison.
Money you've got, and you've got a big house and car and all that sort of thing, but the problems that come along with that, you know, are incredible. And I can tell you, everything material that we have, every £100 we've earned, we've got £100 worth of problems to balance it.
Yes.
It's very ironical in a way, because, you know, we've all got maybe a big house and a car and an office, but to actually get the money that you've earned is virtually impossible. It's like illegal to earn money. Well, not to earn it, it's illegal to keep the money you earn. You never give me your money, you only give me your funny paper, you know. That's why we get bits of paper saying how much is earned and what this and that. But you never actually get it in...
pounds and pence.
Yes.
Ringo tried to save a few quid, as they say, but he too felt there just wasn't enough money.
But it's not that we're broke. On paper, we're very wealthy people. Just when it gets down to pound notes, we're only half wealthy. No, I'm not wealthy at all.
You said the others are all better off than you.
Well, I think John and Paul are definitely better off than me, mainly on the publishing. And George has got a lot of publishing too.
And Paul McCartney saved his money and made more.
No, I don't like doing the business bit that much, but you can't avoid it. See, the thing is, like, we were once a band, just a band, but then because we were successful, you can't help it being successful. You know, money comes in, you can't help that again. When money comes in, income tax has to be paid. So you can't really help just turning into a businessman because someone says to you, well, where's your income tax, mate?
As much as people think, because if we earn $1 million, then the government gets 90% and we get 10,000. And we didn't sort of realize how much we were spending, like someone pointed out, to spend 10,000, you have to make 120. But we just spend as 120. So all we're doing now is tightening up on our own personal money and on the company's money, we're not just giving as much away and handouts and things like that, and as many projects. We're going to cut down a bit till we've sorted ourselves out again and do it properly as a business.
And finally at the end...
Into the office, I just it was like sagging off school, and I went to a friend's house in the country, and it was just sunny, and it was all just the release of the tension that had been building up on me, and it was just really nice sunny day, and I picked up the guitar, which was the first time I'd played the guitar for a couple of weeks because I'd been so busy, and the first thing that came out was that song. It just came, and I finished it later when I was on holiday in Sardinia. I started to write songs was because I thought, well, if they can write them, I can write them. And it's just the first line, something in the way she moved, which has been in millions of songs. It's not a special thing.
That's any reason to form that group again. Paul has his new band, I have a new band, no doubt George will have a band, and Ringo will have a band. I mean, that's why I brought out the Plastic Ono band originally, to differentiate. That's me.
However, Paul McCartney...
I don't know, I've never known. I didn't know that when we were playing at the Cavern that we'd be on the Royal Variety performance. And after that, all the papers said, well, what's left for them? So then we went to America. They said, what's left for them then? And we got into making better albums and stuff. I mean, I just don't know what's going to happen. It'll be all right, though.
George Harrison was anonymous, and yet his presence was felt both musically and spiritually.
I wouldn't mind playing, I like playing the guitar with people and singing a few songs and stuff. But I don't know as to going on clubs and things like that. I think it's mental, it's a mental concept. But to physically or spiritually split is impossible, because if you're listening, I'm the walrus too.
And of course, Ringo Starr.
Well, I wouldn't like to go out on the road and everything again. I think we could. The thing we could do is record together again. That's about it. I wouldn't fancy going on the road with anyone.
It was over, and yet it would never end. The 70s realized that all things must pass. There were those who would not feel complete until they found a way to acknowledge the Beatles.